This one goes this way. They fit before. Got it. I like the way that sounds. That's why I do it at the beginning of every meeting. Let's call the meeting to order. And today is the business meeting of the San Bernardino Community College Board of Trustees. And we're going to call, as we call this meeting to order, I'd like to have Trustee Vericel lead us on our Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for all. Thank you. At this point, we are going to do public comments on the agenda and non-agenda items. The San Bernardino Community College Board of Trustees offers an opportunity for the public to address the board on any agenda item prior to or during the board's consideration of that item. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes per speaker and 20 minutes per topic if there is more than one speaker. At the conclusion of public comment, the board may ask staff to review a matter or may ask a matter be put on a future agenda. As a matter of law, members of the board may not discuss or take action on matters noticed for discussion or action in open session. Requires a disability-related modification or accommodation in order to participate in the public meeting should contact the Chancellor's office far in advance of the meeting if possible. I have several public comment cards. So the first one that I would call up to the podium is Jesse Lemure. Did I pronounce that correctly?
It's Lemieux. Thank you.
Okay.
So I am Jesse Lemieux. I'm the current department chair for chemistry at San Bernardino Valley College. And I'm here in support of the science faculty because in the spring 2023, we will be required to teach 2 classes, but only be assigned load for 1. We will not have the time to properly serve our students in that case. I'm asking for the board to take action as soon as they can to make sure this is avoided. Thank you.
Thank you. For some reason, I can't get my little buds to work today, so you'll all have to be patient. Okay. Titania Vasquez.
Hello, I am Tatiana Vasquez, biology faculty in biology chair department. In support of my science colleagues, I am here, and in support of my science students as well. Please, Board of Trustees, please help us resolve the issues that are going to be highlighted by my fellow faculties today. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Leonard.
Good afternoon. My name is Sherry Lillard, chemistry professor at Valley College. Some of us spoke here last month during public comments to try to bring to your attention some serious concerns that we have. I fully recognize that the board is not permitted to respond to public comments, and it makes for kind of an awkward situation because we cannot actually have a conversation. I wish we could. With that said, I was hopeful that the information we provided last time would lead to some positive change. However, as of this afternoon, things are still the same. The caps for the Chem 101 labs still exceed the number of workstations in the lab room, and the lectures that are assigned 0 load remain as such in the schedule. So I have two things I want to bring up today addressing the board on these issues for the second time. First, I am troubled that the administration thinks that promoting attrition, something that goes against all DEIAA efforts, is acceptable. The district should be planning for properly filled labs and classes and supporting faculty efforts for retention. Honestly, I just don't know how else to try to convey the urgency of the safety concerns for overfilling the lab room. Do the administrators in the district not care if the employees are working in a safe environment? Sadly, this is the conclusion I draw. The second thing I have a genuine concern about is the apparent dishonesty with the zero-load lecture sections. I believe the term used by administrators, double section, is a misnomer and honestly just a cover-up for wage theft. The truth is that a faculty member teaching a so-called double section is teaching two separate classes, having two section numbers and two reference numbers. The work includes lecture and lab for each section. These two classes are advertised in the schedule of classes through WebAdvisor as two separate classes and are funded by the state as two separate classes. There is no ambiguity there. And one last thing. Work is filled out and submitted from the dean to the instruction office and then to payroll for the faculty member's zero-load section. Because the workload for two Chem 101 classes, for example, should be 0.686, nearly 70% of a full-time workload. Campus administrators, however, are arbitrarily choosing to assign one of the lectures zero load. And that is 20% of my compensation that is stolen from me, and that's not okay. Now, what they'll say is that this decision is all about helping the students. I can tell you from my more than 15 years of full-time teaching in this district, there is no way that zero load benefits the students. So then my final question is this: is payroll unknowingly acting on fraudulent paperwork? I don't know. Please, 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 we ask the board to please help us resolve these issues. We want to be there for our students. We want to do what's right, but this is really hurting us and hurting our students. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any more public comment cards. At
Madam
this,
Chair?
yes.
Can I ask that the executive committee work with the chancellor to just get us some education on some of the issues that were raised at the last meeting, at this meeting? There were a couple different public comments that I don't clearly understand.
Yes, we can put that on the agenda. At this point, do I have some more? Okay, all right. At this time, what we're going to do,
I'm sorry for this one.
you would do,
Sorry.
no, what she just spoke.
No, a different topic.
Oh, a different topic, okay.
It's close, but that's okay. That's okay. Good evening, board. I was also here last month. This is the middle of finals, and I'd rather be grading and prepping for next week, but it is okay. This is urgent, and I'm asking for the board's help to solve this problem. The safety in the laboratory is a major issue when we have overcapacity in the labs. Whoever decided on the modified occupancies was wrong. They were wrong. When you look at the building code and you look at educational lab occupancy, it should be 50 square feet per person. Our labs are all under 1,300 square feet, which means our rooms should not have more than 26 people in them. We also have these giant chairs, which make it really hard to walk in between the different walkways. So when students are working with Bunsen burners, with acids, with bases, it is very difficult for us to get in between as instructors and make sure they're doing things safely. I cannot tell you how many times a student has never even lit a match before, and I have to help them light a match, striking away from themselves, making sure they're putting it over the Bunsen burner, and then opening up the gas. I make sure that our students do things safely as my colleagues do. But when this administration decides to put in 30 students into the lab space, violating building code, I'm not sure if you're aware of that. One way to solve that is tell administration, don't violate building code, bring those caps down. And not having enough workstations, what am I going to tell students? Sorry, for students, there's no workstations for you. Wait until students drop. That is completely 100% counter to our DEIAA efforts. How dare we do that to our students? And then to put 60 students in my lecture but only compensate me for half? I believe in equal pay for equal work, And I believe that is not happening when you assign me zero load. I'm full-time. That means to me, like my colleague said, it's 20%. But this also affects my part-time colleagues. When my part-time colleagues get zero load in their lectures, you know what happens to that? They don't get their hourly wages for that lecture part. They don't get their retirement, and they don't get their sick hours. So this district is not just conducting wage theft, but this district is also conducting theft of retirement and sick hours. How dare the district promote that they're DEIAA when they're exploiting their workers? It starts with us as a district. We do not exploit people. That should be your mantra, that you care for people, that you pay people for their work, that you do not brag about having zero load. Ha ha ha, look how we found the loophole. Because that's what it feels like to us, that people are using loopholes and making stuff up in order to cheat other people of It's fraud. It is stealing from your workers. And I think it's an important thing to resolve immediately. And there is solutions. One solution, a quick one, is load them. If you have a class, give them the load. Do not put zero. Our contracts have never meant to be zero. Our contract was never meant to be exploited for us to work for free. There's a word for that. If people are working for free, we know what that's called, right? That's slavery. And that ended a while ago. So please, please, please fix this. I believe that the board should have evidence. If you need more evidence, we can provide it for you. We have evidence upon evidence that shows that all these practices hurt our students. They do not help our students. So whoever says this is in the best interest of our students is lying to you. When we make sure that our classes were the correct size based on our professional organizations, our success rates, our retention skyrocketed. So how dare the district tell us that no, going in the reverse will actually help our students? Because it does not. Please, board, help us resolve this. Please make this holiday break less stressful for us so that when we come in next semester, we're not still dealing with this. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, as part of the information that Trustee Williams asked for, could we have the history of load? Having been in the district and taught for many, many years, I can tell you that sometimes we made a deal in order to have advanced classes. I taught Spanish. So I know that sometimes in order to have a Spanish 4 that only had a very small number of students, I would teach more students than necessary in the entry 101. So we made that deal. But it was a deal that was with the consent of the instructor, which was me, with my dean and my department chair. So could we get an explanation of how load is being calculated? It's been a while since I've been in the classroom.
Sure.
So could we just get that clarification and then we can have the discussion? Thank you. Do we have any more public comment? No? Okay. So now we get to the really exciting new part of our agenda, and that is the oath of office for those who have been reelected and elected to a permanent position. I congratulate you. So let's start with...
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before we start, may I introduce a few folks that are here with us today, if you don't mind?
They're not part of the guests that somebody... Are you going to introduce
No,
them?
not
Oh,
all of them,
okay.
if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. That's
Thank
fine.
you. So tonight within our audience, we have a number of public officials that we're excited that joined us today. These are individuals that have always been supportive of the San Bernardino Community College District. And we just want to thank you for being here and your continued support. With us, we have Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. Thank you.
An alum,
An alum, yes.
and one of my students.
Newly elected San Bernardino Mayor Helen Tram. Dr. Don English, School Board Member, Chaffey Joint Unified School District. and also Assembly Member. Thank you, sir, for being. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. I'm going to turn the mic over to Trustee Williams to introduce his guests and have everybody move toward the podium for the ceremonial oath of office.
Yeah, just a quick story. We have our student trustee and or our student board member from Rialto Unified School District, Stephen Gayton and Kevin. What board member, and Kamal is the DSAC member. I get them confused, mixed up, y'all. He's our DSAC member. DSAC is the District Student Advisory Council, and these are student leaders from throughout our district that have an opportunity to serve
Rialto.
in Rialto Unified School District, different advisory capacities, and they really represent our district well. And Stephen is our student board member. And what is significant about this moment, at least for me, I'm a former student trustee for our district, and Assembly Member Jackson is a former student member for Rialto Unified School District, and also a former DSAC member. And so you never know where your future will end up. And so I'm it's honored to have all three of them here to do my oath of office. And so I guess we can just go into it and get started.
Do you have everybody?
So we're supposed to stand on this line and face this way, where I'm supposed to face this way. How you want?
Are we supposed to go?
No, facing you. We can do the oath, and then we'll get a picture of you.
Swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
And that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
I'd now like to ask Trustee Nathan Gonzalez to introduce his guest and move forward to the podium for the ceremonial oath of office.
I'm very excited this evening to invite, for this opportunity, an individual who is no stranger to this chamber and to this board. That is Nelva Reese Martinez, who is the president of the San Bernardino Valley College Associated Student Government.
I can't hear you. it.
I, Nathan Gonzalez,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that you will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask trustee Stephanie Houston to introduce her guest and move forward to the podium for the ceremonial oath of office.
Thank you. In the spirit of excitement and energy for our next generation, I really will follow suit in having my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Kira Houston, who is a freshman at Beaumont High School. She will be my deliver the oath of office for me, and in the spirit of being a graduate of Crafton Hills College, myself, and her dad being a graduate of Crafton Hills College, and her mom being a graduate of Crafton Hills College. We're looking forward to the next generation, the third generation of Houstons, eventually being at one of our colleges. So with that, Kira Houston will be deliver my oath.
I, Stephanie Houston,
I, Stephanie Houston,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
duties that
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Stay up. I'd like to ask all the ceremonial participants and board members to the podium for a group photo. The next item on our agenda zip it up. Thank you. This reminds me of Spanish 101 on the very first day. All right. Our next section is the organizational meeting of the board, and this happens every December. And so we will take nominations by vote for each position separately. We will take nominations and then we'll follow up with a vote. If there is more than one nomination for the positions, trustees begin with nominations.
Trustee Houston.
Do we need a second?
Second.
We don't actually need second nominations.
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, is that not good? Second, nominations do not require a second.
Do they need a second?
I believe they do.
Okay, we'll be safe. We have a second. We have a second. That's fine. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? None? All right, hearing such. Can we have the, there are no other nominations, or do we have to take a vote?
I move that it be,
And is it a roll call vote?
As long as the public knows how you guys vote, it's fine. So if you want to do it by acclamation, that's fine too.
Okay, so we'll, Stephanie Houston is our new board chair by acclamation. The next office is vice chair, and I'm the privilege of the chair at this point and nominate trustee Ann Vericel.
Second?
Are there any other nominations? None? Then we will vote by acclamation. And so congratulations, trustee Vericel. You are a new vice chair. The third position is that of clerk, and so I'm accepting nominations for clerk of the board.
I wish to nominate Joseph Williams.
All right. Is there
Second.
a second? Okay. Are there any other nominations? None? Then we will, congratulations, trustee Williams, for our new trust. Second a calendar year, trustee Williams was our primary and trustee Gonzalez was the alternate. The primary member serves as the voting representative for each vacant position to be filled by the election members of the County Committee on School District Organization, which is conducted at their annual meeting in conjunction with the fall meeting of the San Bernardino County Board Association. If the primary member at the annual meeting, the alternative representative will assume the responsibility and attend and vote. And so at this time, we need nominations for the primary.
well, I was going to say, if we may do it, I'd nominate to continue both the primary and the,
Okay, so the primary was trustee Williams, and the alternate was trustee Gonzalez. Am I assuming those positions? Yes?
Oh, no, I'm good with the way.
Okay, okay. I'd like to have a motion and a second to that, please.
well, I made the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and we do not have any other nominees. Can we do the same thing, legal advisor?
Yes, you may.
Elect by acclamation, and so congratulations to both of you. At this time, let's do the approval of the minutes, and this are the minutes for 11/10/2022.
Move approval.
Do I have a,
Second?
okay. Is there any discussion? Okay. Since there isn't we need to do a roll call vote on this. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Veracel.
Aye.
And the chair, Harrison, votes yes. Aye. And at this point, let's do the presentation of celebrations. The applause card should be brought up so that we can see those people that have been nominated for their excellent service in the district. Thank you, and thank you, all of you who have been nominated. It takes a village to run a campus. It takes a village to run a district, and when we can recognize the good service that we receive from each other, that is wonderful. Thank you. At this point, let me turn it over to the Chancellor for anniversary recognitions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, first, I just want to congratulate and thank all of the folks that you see on our list here for their dedicated years of service. We will notice that Robert has 38 years of service in our telecommunications area. We just want to say congratulations and thank you for all of your years of service. It is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, and Madam Chancellor, if you would also do the recognitions for anniversaries. I'm sorry, for retirements.
Sure. You know, we have a number of individuals that have decided to retire this year. And again, we just want to thank them for their outstanding service to our district. You know, if you think about the number of lives that these employees touched in our students and the difference that they made, just phenomenal. I do want to recognize and give the condolences to Ms. Chavita, who passed away recently, who is scheduled to retire. She was an assistant within our applied tech area, just a phenomenal person who gave a lot to the colleges, to both colleges actually, and also to our students. I remember once I was president of the college, and it must have been about 9:30 at night in the evening, and Sharon texted me and said, "Can we talk?" And so it's 9:30 at night. And I'm like, this has to be an emergency. So, you know, I called her back right away. And she was calling me because it was weighing heavy on her mind that there was a student that couldn't get a class and wanted to know what we could do to help the student. That's the kind of person that Sharon was. So huge condolences on behalf of the entire district to her family and loved ones.
Yes. By the way, she did the same thing to me when I was at Crafton. Same thing. Didn't just walk into the office and say, "We have a problem."
That's Sharon.
That was Sharon. Exactly. And then I'd like to call to the Chancellor to introduce our two trustees and our Vice Chancellor. I guess it's one trustee and our Vice Chancellor to begin their report and presentation on the Tennessee and Utah site visit.
Yes, thank you. So over the past several months ago, I should say, we had the opportunity to visit a couple of different states, colleges and universities within different states, to take a peek at what they are doing within the CTE fields. These were model institutions that had best practices that had been noticed nationwide, and with Trustee Houston's help, we made some connections, and we were able to go over and visit their campuses and see firsthand what they were doing in hopes of bringing back some of those fantastic ideas to the colleges. So we just want to share with you a bit about what we found, what we learned, and what we discovered. So I'll invite Trustee Houston and Vice Chancellor Ornelas to the podium for the presentation.
You want me to start? Okay. So, in the way back days before the pandemic, if we can remember that far back, we had planned a series of visits to some schools that were in Tennessee and in Utah. And they were scheduled to happen in February, March of 2020. And we all know what happened in that time domain. So we had to postpone those visits. But they were really a result of conversations that several of the trustees and I had with regard to what's happening across the country in the world of career education, in the world of occupational education certification programs. And since I serve as a commissioner for the Council on Occupational Education, and we accredit about 700 schools across the country that are schools federal financial aid for their certificated occupational training programs and their degree programs related to career technical education and occupational training, I was able to say, hey, I visited some really awesome schools. I have some friends. I know some presidents. I know some people in other states. Let's set this up. So we were able to set that up for this fall, and the organization and all of the credit and all of everything associated with getting it set up really is Dr. Ornelas. She's done all of the work associated with that. I just made some virtual introductions, and then she took over from there. So I think if we click, that's just a little bit of the history, but it's really related to, we've broken ground on our Applied Technology Center. We're going to be doing some amazing things. We know that this region is a region that the entire state of California is paying attention to. There's huge investment that's being made through our Community Economic Resiliency Fund, through our K-16 pathway work, that really is all around ensuring that there's a transformation of our post-secondary systems to align with workforce and economic development. In addition to that, we have our goals within our district that all of this is aligned to. Oh, well. There's just a lot of words on this slide, but these are some of the goals, and you can see the ones that, but you can see the ones that are bolded are really where the intention and the direct connection to our goals within the college district align with the visit and really the outcomes that we were hoping to gain as we saw these best practices from across the country.
Thank you. And as much as I would like to take that credit, I really have to give it to the folks that have been doing this work before I arrived. I was merely the liaison that helped coordinate that visit. But as we began to discuss and really begin to think about what are we going to do as it relates to our applied technology? We have a lot of great facilities that are part of our master planning and our educational planning, and how are they going to connect with this vision for success that the State Chancellor's Office has outlined? I'm really excited because our faculty and staff have been doing so much great work along guided pathways and looking at curriculum and reevaluating that it really gave us an opportunity to come together as a district to begin to look at how do we envision moving forward with all of our entities that we have here, whether it's Crafton Hills College, San Bernardino Valley College, our Economic and Corporate Training Center. How do we become the district that serves the community in all of these aspects and facets? And how do we create these educational opportunities that will allow our students to strive in whatever they wish to do? So I was really excited that we all came together collectively. What you see on the screen shows a collective group of individuals that are cross-representative, cross-functional in all of our areas. We had faculty, we had administration, we had management, we had presidents, we had our Economic and Corporate Training Center director. We had all these group of individuals that allowed multiple perspectives to come in when we were actually visiting these campuses and colleges, and it really really just started as, let's go see one. But after all of the connections that we had, and that's the great thing about being connected, not only locally across the state, but nationally, is San Bernardino Community College is on the map, but we're creating these connections and these relationships. And that's really what allowed the folks at the various colleges to say, yes, you can come tomorrow. We want you here. And they were all very welcoming and very kind with their time. So we had a pretty aggressive schedule, and I don't track my number of steps, but I think that 10,000 is the average, and I think some of those days we hit 20,000, which was pretty big. Our first campus that we went to visit was Tennessee College of Applied Technology. And this is just a picture of some of the facilities. We had so many wonderful experiences, and the facilities were just amazing. They were very welcoming and open to us. And one of the things that we began to look at are what are some of the themes that we saw. And so the feedback that you'll hear tonight are really the direct feedback from the members. I'm just here speaking on their behalf on what they saw. And the first thing that we saw from the Tennessee College of Applied Technology was just the number of industry partners. They were everywhere. They were visible. We could see the connections. There were material, equipment, joint use facility agreements. So you could really see in the conversations that we had, the strengthening of industry with the college, industry partners using the college facilities, partners providing the equipment for students to learn on the latest equipment and technology to be prepared for their jobs and employment. That was one of the few things that we began to see. There was a student-centered approaches that were also highlighted. We also got to speak with a few students, and they got to share their experiences. And some of the things that really resonated with me was we're able to get employment. We are going to have a career after our educational training.
Can I jump? Can I
Yes,
jump in?
yes.
Sorry. I do this. I'm a terrible person to present with. I want to just jump in on Murfreesboro, because one thing to know about Murfreesboro, Tennessee, is that the largest Nissan manufacturing plant is in Murfreesboro. And so the public-private partnership between Nissan and this campus is really what created the one footprint of the Murfreesboro campus. They actually have two footprints in that city, but the Nissan facility was this amazing private-public partnership, and through that, the other partnerships have flourished. But one example, in addition to the partnership with Nissan, so Nissan really will hire straight out of these programs. It is literally across the street from the manufacturing facility. The school is across the street. But another one of the things that we saw was that there are other manufacturing companies that they have placed in this same facility their outlet. Essentially, if someone wants to purchase their 3D manufacturing equipment, they go to the school to see the demo, right? The students are demoing the equipment. So for an industry partner that wants to purchase the equipment, they not only step foot on the campus and see the equipment and see how it's run, but they see the students running it. So, I mean, this innovative approach where the partners are part of the school is a lot of what we saw. Sorry, I'll jump out now.
Feel free to chime in, as this is a collective effort. So as we moved on to Utah, we began to look at a couple of colleges, and we just started with one college. And as we began connecting with the president and CEO, he said, you ought to go look at some other colleges while you're here. They're doing a lot of great work. And Utah's legislation recently put all higher ed institutions under the same umbrella. And so they were also going through some changes, which was very interesting to begin to look at how they were handling some of those things. And one of the things that we really immediately saw at Davis Tech was the connectedness to students, really being a state-of-the-art facility that was built and designed for students to learn and train in real-life facilities. So being able to have models of what a dentist office really looks like. What does an ER room look like? How do you, use the X-ray machines with the current X-ray technology? And it also allowed us to begin to envision what some of our facilities would look like. We're in the several planning stages of our facilities. We were able to ask some of those questions and get some feedback to, does this what does this look like for us? And how is California different? Because there are some differences between California and other states. It also allowed us to begin to think about different opportunities with our Economic and Corporate Training Center. And one of the things that I really enjoyed as part of this visit was being able to connect offline as well and share ideas. So we really got to know each other and really begin to think about some further ideas for collaboration. We also went to visit Salt Lake Community College. So that is a community college. It's a 2-year public institution. And one of the things that we acknowledged and recognized there was just the integration of student services and instruction. So the photos that you see are some of the facilities, and within the instructional areas, there was a large space for students to get support within the student services area and function. So that was really good. They had intentional marketing of programs and services. They also emphasized the strong partnership with industry and how industry came to them to hire students. They wanted students that were trained in these areas, and they also wanted to ensure that the employers had access to our facilities to use, whether it be for live production and also any type of use, possibly training of their staff as well. The last campus that we went to visit was Ogden Weber College, Technical College, and this college also had a strong emphasis in manufacturing. What we learned about this area was that they are the most diverse area in the county or in the state, and they're high manufacturing. So they begin to develop their programs and services to support industry there. And they also wanted to ensure that although they were a technical college, they had opportunities and pathways for students to go to the university. So they're having conversations with their four-year partners to figure out how do we begin to accept the credit that you've earned here to transition into a four-year degree. And always, I think, at the center of their conversation was aligning their programs to meet industry needs and employer needs. So that was a strong emphasis. They had strong advisory committees and really wanted to highlight and were proud. They were very proud of those relationships. As we began to absorb and take in that information, one of the things that we began to look at is how does that compare to our district? What are we doing? And I was very proud at seeing those connections and validating the great work that we're doing here. That was one of our big takeaways is San Bernardino Community College District, they're doing amazing work, and we're doing some of the things that these colleges are doing. So it was really reassuring to know, yes, we saw these great colleges, we saw these great facilities. But you know what? Our faculty and staff are updating curriculum just like they are. Our faculty and staff are working on guided pathways, which begin to create those seamless pathways to students towards a certificate, a degree, or transfer. Our colleges are working with our high schools. That was one of the things that was highlighted. We're working with our high schools. We're out there. We are out there with our high schools. We are starting to have collaborative conversations with Economic and Corporate Training Center, EdCT. You know, that's a good opportunity. That is something that we can begin to talk about. So it was very enlightening for me, and for someone who's new, it just really helped me understand just the deep commitment that we have here collectively to serve our community and to serve the students that we do. But as in all processes, it also gives us a time to reflect and begin to think of how can we get better? what innovation can we take from them and do it to fit our needs? Because one of the things we did see is that different states operate differently. We have unions, we have different processes to approve curriculum, we have our state chancellor's office. We're structured a little different. But where are those opportunities? And so our final thoughts, and this is a picture that we took from one of the facilities, was we change lives. And that was reassuring to us. We do change lives. We do impact our students. And as we are developing our educational master plans and our colleges are done, it will, how are those educational master plans going to gear us to be prepared to serve our community, to develop and to build state-of-the-art facilities that are going to last and serve our students and be flexible enough to adjust. And so these are some of our final thoughts. We're just, how are we measuring success? How are we looking at our data? Are there opportunities for us to engage our industry after we saw those connections? How can we engage our industry and instill those relationships? How do we hold larger conversations across the district collectively to move our efforts forward as a group? And how do we integrate some of the models that we saw? Some of those models were really good. They were very inspiring. How do we begin to do that? So as we move forward within our planning processes, that's something that we're really excited about. And I'm not sure if there's anything else that you would like to add, Trustee Houston, to close out, but I just want to thank our members that joined us and really validated the work that was being done here. So.
Don't ever give me the mic. But no, I just, it was a really inspiring visit. It was, and Frank was on the Utah visit, and to say it was an aggressive pace is an understatement. I feel like I've got pretty good stamina. I was exhausted after that visit. I mean, it was incredible. But the ability to identify the parts and pieces could potentially fit with a little super inspiring, and the relationship and the reciprocation of these schools want to come visit us as well as a result of the visit. So I think that they're going to be coming to see what we're doing, and they're going to be reporting back to their communities all of the amazing things that are happening at San Bernardino Community College District. So it was really very successful.
Thank you. We can ask questions.
Presentation, yes.
Yes? I know I wondered how quickly their curriculum turned around and how much of their programs were credit, non-credit. I was just curious.
You can answer for the, yeah.
Yeah, so there were non-credit-based programs. Some were COE approved, and many of the programs were clock hours. There were CTE programs, nursing programs. Some of them were open exit programs. So there were very different instructional learning models that we saw. And with Salt Lake Community College, they're very traditional, similar to what we have. So there were very similar programs in the way they structured, whether it be an 8-week course structure or a semester-long program. And they also followed credit hours as well. They do have a non-credit area. But for the most part, the technical colleges were clock hours, and there's different processes in terms of Title IV financial aid to get approved for that. And so we do have programs like that in the state of California, so I think that was part of, well, let's begin to look at how do we, how do those clock hours work, and how can we possibly look at or explore educational opportunities with us.
Good.
I had the opportunity to go to that visit, and I was really impressed. Anytime that we have an opportunity to spend $100 million to build a building, which is the applied technology, I think it's up to us to make sure that, and we took a good team, and the faculty and administrators and board members, so I think that, well stated, that we're very comparable to them, and actually, in some ways, we're doing better, but we don't want to tell them that, but they do want to come and visit us. And it's for them to learn. It's a give and take. We don't have answers for everything, The one that I was really impressed with, and I'm glad that Connie Leva's here, is that we did go visit they have a TV and radio station, and so we can learn a lot from them as well, and how we can collaborate. Because we're not only dealing with the state in terms of grants. Lies in the process of getting that, because there is monies available. I think that we're going to put Connie to work real hard. New tennis shoes. But I'm really impressed with the opportunities on the broadband, because remember, our TV and radio station, they can bring a lot of opportunities. So they were one of the best. So that was an eye opener for me. Aside from the other programs, like the nursing program, is what stated. They have really good programs in regards to nursing, getting the top-notch training and the equipment also. And also how to, if you recall, how to actually make sure that we work with the architect, not necessarily ourselves, but our team, to make sure that we don't make the mistakes that have been made in the past that could cost a lot of money. So I was really impressed, and I learned a lot.
And the two technical colleges in Utah that we visited had just remodeled or built their buildings, but one was about 10 years ago and one was just more like 2 years ago. And the differences just in that short time, of how they approached the building, we learned, I think, a lot from that. And then the last thing I'll say on the clock hour piece is that had an opportunity to attend the ACCT conference, and in the federal legislation, there is a push to reduce the minimum requirement for clock hours from 6 per program to access federal financial aid down to 150 hours per program. Wow. So from an equity and access place, what that does is provide the financial aid needed for those shorter term programs. So definitely paying very close attention to that as we move forward. It's not approved, but it's certainly on the table at this time. So as we continue with our advocacy work and looking at the federal level in terms of potential opportunities for those shorter term programs for our students to access federal aid, it's really exciting.
That is exciting. Yeah. Question?
So first, thank you for the presentation and for bringing back the information. The last slide had several questions. Who's taking the responsibility to answer those questions? And given the foundation is starting to be laid for the CTE building, or the Career Applied Technology building, will we see any difference as a result of this visit to the original plan for our Applied Technology Center? Like, is it going to evolve? Will we see some different stuff? And yeah.
So just in terms of next steps, these were obviously some final thoughts for action, and I'm happy to say that conversations have started at EdCT. Our deans are doing instrumental work. They're meeting with the facilities folks, and I know that some adjustments have been made. I'm not sure if they've been as a result of this, but I know that it really did spark some further questions in terms of how do we create that flexibility in space, how do we look at the long-term sustainability of some of our programs or adapting to the new technologies. So I know those conversations are taking place, and I'm aware of a few meetings that have taken place just in terms of meeting with the architect and planning for that. I'm not sure if anyone else or our presidents would like to speak to that, but those are some of the actions. As part of our planning process, we are looking at kind of the future growth and development for EdCT, and I know we have a planned presentation for that. So I think on the areas that I'm responsible for, we definitely are taking some of these opportunities and looking at them further.
Yeah, I would be really interested, because the last plan that I remember seeing is when we were talking about pathways on what was going to happen in that building, and I think the consensus was we didn't want to just see the current programs just move into a new facility, and so I'm still interested in making sure that it evolves, and I'm still really interested in seeing sustainability curricula at some point in time come into the Inland Empire, because it's climate and all of the things related to these new advanced buildings. We should be teaching our students about how to do the stuff. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is I'd like for us to really get an update on that facility, because I'd hate to be surprised and get a structure and then it's the programs that was in the old building that are just in a new building.
I'll just say that we're involved in the high road strategies, California Forward, through the SURF, right, Community Economic Resiliency Fund investment. So our college district is at the table in those planning discussions, which are exactly what you're talking about. That's that triple bottom line. That's where we're talking about climate. We're talking about those wage progressions. We're talking about those quality jobs. That's part of the discussion that the college district's involved in, which I imagine is going to be integrated into what was discovered on the visit and what the planning is going to be moving forward. That's what I know about it. I mean, and I'm,
I guess what I'm
so.
saying is like, show us, because it's been some time since we've seen the last one, and let's keep showing us and keep showing us. Even if it changes, just keep showing us, because again, like, we haven't, when's the last time, are you like all clear or firm what the CTE or why do I keep calling it CTE?
Applied Technology.
The Applied Technology Center. Because I'm out saying, hey, this is going to be the skills hub for this is going to be the thing in the region. Is that true? Can I say that? Legit? Can I legitimately can I keep saying that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Say it with a stronger voice too, because we
but
can't
just show us some stuff.
We're successful with some programs that we have. Obviously, we want to keep it. I know that welding is one of the best programs we have. Water treatment is one of them. We can actually expand. We can improve, but we can also review the effectiveness of the programs that we've had. Because I mean, like automotive is one of the best. But they need to improve the technology and all that. That's the thing that I'm selling it.
Are we going to be able to compete with UEI?
There,
That's the kind of question I want to be able to see. Like, is our auto program going to be just as advanced? Because if you go over there, they got BMW in there. They got, I think we had, who's the name on our building still?
which one?
The Toyota that's in the auto program down there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Obershaw Toyota. Like, so will we be able to compete with UEI? I want to know that kind of stuff.
So, Trustee Williams, I think President Thayer could probably address some of your questions.
Cool.
Yeah, I can speak to briefly on a question. If you recall,
Mike. There you go.
I can speak briefly to that question. If you recall, Secretary Granholm, Energy Secretary, came to visit, and the faculty who were showing her around attended this event as well, and they've been updating their curriculum, anticipating the new building. So they already have been discussing within their division what they want to be providing through curriculum based upon sustainability and those things. So those conversations happen, and the feedback that they received on the trip to Tennessee in particular was the one I went with as well, is so they're going to be able to take those ideas, they're looking to the future and building out their curriculum based upon what is anticipating what's happening. And so they have done a great job of reviewing it and showcasing it. And they were able to show that in that visit, as well as the anticipated opening of the new building. So they're very excited about it, and they're preparing for that before it actually opens.
Thank you. Any other questions? John. Trustee Longo.
Yes, I'm just delighted to see all of these cross connections going on. I'm in the opportunities that are being created for more cross connections that will benefit our students. And it seems like somewhere in there should be room for a little niche program in our welding program to weld the tuners on car radios to 91.7. I've got mine set there, and perhaps we could. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about is anticipatory design. right? And anticipatory planning, so that you're not just planning for today, you're planning for what, a little futurist aspect of all of this. Yeah, thank you. The next in our action agenda is assignment to board advisory committees. These are really we have two standing committees from the Board of Trustees. One of them is the Legislative Committee and the Finance Committee. Presently, the Legislative Committee, the chair is Trustee Reyes, joined by Trustee Vericel and Longville. The Finance Committee is chaired by Trustee Williams, with Trustees Houston and Harrison as members. So at this point, I need to find out who is interested, and we'll start with the Legislative Committee, and this is for 2023.
Continue to be the chair of that committee.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to be chair of that committee? No? Who, the other members of the committee are Trustee Vericel and Longville. Are you interested in remaining on those committees? Yes. Longville, yes. Anybody else who would like to join? I mean, we can only have 3, by the way. All right. So at this point, do we need to have a roll call vote?
Yes, Madam Chair, you do, because it's an action item. But I also want to say to Trustee Longville, he was correct. A nomination does not require a second. I looked it up in Robert's Rules of Order, so you were correct, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't have to have a second. So we have for the Legislative Committee, the chair, Trustee Reyes, joined by Trustees Vericel and Longville. So I'd like to take a roll call vote at this time. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vericel.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Congratulations, you have another year of service. Thank you very much. The Finance Committee. The current chair is Trustee Williams. And members are Trustee Houston and Harrison. I would like to continue on that Finance Committee.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Gonzalez to take over as chair.
Okay. Is that acceptable? Yes? Trustee Houston?
I was just a question, since this is an action item, I do second on this one, or is it still in the nomination bucket?
We're still in the nomination phase, so a second is optional but not necessary.
Okay.
If we want a second, I will do that.
Trustee Houston, are you interested in continuing on the Finance Committee? Yes. Okay. Anybody else interested? It's really a fun committee, guys. It really is. It's a very educational committee. By the way, all trustees are welcome to attend the meetings. The public is welcome to attend the meetings. Staff is certainly welcome to attend the meetings. However, only the 3 trustees who are legally part of the committee can do the vote. Okay. And it is not a vote for action, but a vote for referral to the whole Board of Trustees. But we do go in depth, and poor Vice Chancellor Torres will tell you that sometimes he would rather we not ask the questions we ask, but we have fun in that committee. We really do. We do. It's a good committee. All right. So let's take a roll call vote. And Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Vericel. And the chair votes aye. Okay. And then we also need to do an approval of the ex officio directors of Inland Futures Foundation. And so on this one, we do need a motion and a second.
I'll move whatever is desired by the chair.
Okay.
Wait. Who are the folks?
Okay, it's in your board book. It's in your board book, people. Page 35. And the recommendation, ex officio directors. Chancellor of the District, Diana Z. Rodriguez, Executive Vice Chancellor, Jose F. Torres, Vice Chancellor, Educational and Student Support Service, Naomi Ornelas.
I second Trustee Longville's motion.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish, please. You made me read these. Let me finish. Executive Director, KVCR, TV, FM, Connie Leyva. Executive Director, EDCT, Deanna Craybale. Those are the nominees for director.
That was my motion.
Okay.
Second.
Well, okay.
Second.
You guys are just ready today. Okay. So let's do a roll call vote, right?
The future looks bright.
I sure hope so.
That's a good team.
Trustee Alexander, student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes. Trustee Williams. Trustee Vericel.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, so we have the approval of the ex officio. The next item is the assignment of the San Bernardino Regional Emergency Training Joint Powers Authority. And Trustee Houston has served as our representative. Is there anybody interested? And first, I'd like to ask Trustee Houston if she would like to continue. I know you've done a great job with that group.
Extremely interested in continuing.
All right. Okay, so can I have a motion and a second for that?
I make a motion to nominate Stephanie Houston to continue as a chair.
All right. Do I have a second? John? Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have anybody else who would like to do this exciting job? I had this job at one time, by the way, when we started it.
So did I.
You're it, Stephanie. Okay, but let's take a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez. Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vericel. And the chair votes aye. And then the next item is our board policies. So this is for final approval. I need a motion and a second to approve the items.
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? No discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes. Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vericel.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. And then we have, we need a motion, we did that. E is the naming of a classroom in the Public Safety and Allied Health Building at Crafton Hills College, and it's to be named as the Kristen Greek Classroom. So I'm going to hand this over to the Chancellor to introduce the topic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first, I just want to congratulate Dr. Haran and the Crafton Hills College for securing this this naming opportunity. Kristen, as I recall, was a student at Crafton Hills College, and her parents spoke at their recent event that they had. And I'd like to ask Dr. Haran if he wouldn't care to add a little bit more about the importance of this naming opportunity.
Thank you, Chancellor. Forrest and Valerie Greek are benefactors of the college and become very good friends to us. Their daughter, Kirsten, was in the respiratory care program, and the classroom that is being named the Kirsten Greek classroom is the primary classroom that the respiratory care students use in that building. The Forrest retailed to me that some of the happiest times in Kirsten's life, who has unfortunately passed away, were during her work as a respiratory therapist and the time that she spent at Crafton Hills College. And they are generously naming this room in her honor. And we are just so pleased to be a part of her memory and the good work that she did as a respiratory therapist.
Okay.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? None? Roll call vote? I'm assuming. Okay, we're going to try it a little differently this time. I'm getting tired of this order. I vote aye. And then Trustee Vericel.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes. Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Student Trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Student Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
All right, thank you. And the next item is on the consent agenda, and this is expected to be routine and non-controversial. It will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any member of the board, staff member, or citizen may request an item be removed from this section for discussion at this time. Chancellor, do you have any items that need to be pulled from the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Does anyone else have any item they would like to see pulled from the consent agenda? None? Okay.
I move
So,
for approval.
okay.
Second.
And since there's no discussion, the chair votes aye. Trustee Vericel.
Aye.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Reyes. Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Houston.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez. Student Trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Student Trustee Alexander. And
Aye.
so it passes. Thank you. And we get to the port of reports, and I welcome the representative from the different groups to come to the podium and to give a brief report. We will start with board committee reports. Do we have any board committee reports? I know the finance committee did not meet. The legislative committee, did it meet?
We had a very good meeting this afternoon. We talked a little bit about the future vision in terms of policies that we need to really seriously consider being aware and take action, take votes, not only at the state level, but also at the federal level. And the report was very good in regards to what we need to do, the actions that we need to take. One of the things that we discussed that I was really impressed is that the report that was given by the commission, one of the commissions, in regards to financial opportunities in terms of the, CalFresh was very good. I didn't realize that it was so difficult for elected officials, whether it be the Assembly, the Senate, and the Congress, to be able to vote on when students are hungry and they have to go through the process of getting some credit for that. We need to work with our elected officials because I think that our elected officials are really, once they get the information, they'll be more than happy to make the modifications to make it easy for our students. Example, they can use their card if a restaurant or a grocery store does not have certain things. You have to have bananas or something, fruits, and because a lot of times I guess they were thinking that the students were using that monies to do other things that I don't think that that's really true. Maybe one or two students, but most of our students are really hungry and they want to be able to eat. So I know the Angel's going to follow up on the recommendations to that. So one of the big congressmen that can really help us a lot is Mr. Congressman Gomez, who's from Los Angeles, and he's the one that is trying to improve the situation. But they were saying that, and this is where students come in, you young students that are here from Valley College and Crafton Hills College, and they said that if we go to Washington, D.C., or we go to Sacramento, always make it a point to take students with us, because their story is what really sells the congressional individuals. And it is true. I remember at one time when I went to, several times when I went to Washington, D.C., they were going to really minimize the bilingual education at the federal level, and a couple of the students said, "Oh no, don't do that," and they were able to speak Spanish and or their language to the congressperson, and that kind of really impressed them and convinced them to rethink that. And I think that we have, thanks to Robert and Sadio, I think that we have good leaders that could really go and speak on our behalf, because their story is really good. And now we have even Valley College people in Crafton Hills. So I support that 100%. There's a conference that's coming up, and I got an email from, a text from Robert saying, are we going to go? Definitely, we're going to go. I think it's in February in Washington. So hopefully we could take 4 or 5 students. Don't ever look at the amount of money that we're spending on our students, because that's true investment in terms of convincing our elected officials. So I recommend that hopefully we can take at least 4 students, at least 4 students. A lot of colleges take a lot more, but and that would pay big dividends in terms of getting grants. So
Thank
it was
you.
a good report.
Thank you. Like I said, the Finance Committee did not meet. What other committee do we have? We don't have another committee. Okay. Do we have Trustee Williams, do we have anything from the state level? I know the last meeting you made a brief report. Okay. And so the Chancellor's report.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. There we go. I turn on the microphone. So I'd like to express my congratulations to all of the trustees who will be retaining their seats. It's been a pleasure working with you all and looking forward to the upcoming year as well. So congratulations. So at Crafton, we're celebrating another major accomplishment. We will be soon offering our first bachelor's degree program. Dr. Haran mentioned that a couple meetings ago, but hoping he might elaborate on that during his report as well, because you can't celebrate that enough. So, at Valley College, today we had the honor of hosting the Community College League for California Students Basic Needs Summit. That is the committee that puts that together is a committee that is close to me, our Basic Needs Committee that I sit on at the state level. I want to thank a number of folks from Valley College who were instrumental in pulling that together. Also, our Vice Chancellor Ornales for being the point person for the district on that. Dr. Thayer, thank you for opening up your campus, for allowing us to have that there. Higher education leaders and student advocates from across the state visited us today, and they strategized ways to address hunger. As Trustee Reyes just mentioned, housing insecurity, mental health issues, and other items within the community college student needs. At KVCR, we're excited to welcome our new executive director, Connie Leyva. Welcome. We're also just thrilled that the station has received numerous grants from the California Endowment and the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, which will strengthen KVCR's local content and Native American programming through FNX. So congratulations on that. I'd also like to highlight that I recently had the honor of representing our district and the Board of Trustees at the White House Latino Economic Summit held at Cal State San Bernardino. This summit brought individuals from federal agencies like HUD, Health and Human Services, to meet with Inland Empire businesses, education, and community leaders. It is the first time that such a summit was held here in the Inland Empire, and the goal was to explore opportunities to elevate the prosperity of the Inland Empire. At the summit, I had the honor to introduce the keynote speaker for the event, U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona. And during my remarks, and also through a private conversation, I highlighted the innovative work that all of you are really doing around Books Plus and making textbooks more affordable for students. And with all of these great things, we're just scratching the surface of all of the good things that are happening. But it makes me proud of the progress that we're making across the district on our goals that we set. And I know that in 2023, we're just going to continue the momentum and growing the list of all of the fantastic things that you all are accomplishing. So in closing, I just wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I hope that you get some rest and have some enjoyable time with friends and family. Thank you.
And no breaks.
And don't go breaking your leg.
And no breaks, please. The next committee report is the San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate. Where's my closed item?
I just have to make this so I can actually read it with my aging eyes. Good evening. It is officially evening now. It's been a long afternoon. So, good evening. I come to you, and before I go into my pre-prepared report, I do want to address the fact that there's been a lot of comments over the last couple of meetings, including this meeting regarding zero load class caps and things that are surrounding that. And in fact, there was a comment made comparing the loads to slavery. I personally find that to be a bit of a stretch, if not an overstep. And I just want to apologize. I know that that's not maybe my role to do, but I do apologize for that. But at the same time, I do want to also let the Board of Trustees and the executive body know that the Senate is very aware of the class cap concerns and issues. It is a clearly 10+1 purview, and we will be addressing that in the spring. We have not been able to address that fully this semester, but it is on the San Bernardino Valley College's Senate schedule to be addressed in the spring. So know that we're not ignoring that. We are actively engaged in that process and look forward to that work in the spring. I sound a little rough because I'm not COVID and wasn't. It's just the adrenaline dropped too quickly at the end of the semester, if you know what I mean, right? Adrenaline drops, you get sick. That being said, to start my report under the topic of information to inform policy, I'm just going to share that we continue to seek proactive communication when policy is coming from the district. This was a week of surprising, if I will, communications, and I'll just say maybe surprising as in unexpected, just didn't know it was coming at that time or that moment. That resulted in some knee-jerk reactions. I actually had to apologize and withdraw some questions to the chancellor. So some knee-jerk reactions, panic, and stress. I want to say that all the communications that occurred were certainly necessary and led to productive conversations ultimately, where we resulted in shared understanding and were able to come to a same page and know that we are all understanding each other. The challenge is in between that receipt of communication and the opportunity to meet is a whole lot of angst and energy that goes behind that, and it brings up a lot of concern and questions, and it's just a bit of a load to carry in that short term, even if it's just a couple of days. So I share this comment tonight with the intent in this space just to remind us to be as proactive as we can in communication in advance, even letting us know that, hey, this is on the table, we're talking about this item, recognizing that there's limits, right, with negotiations and things like that, understanding those pieces, but sometimes you can still say something without having to disclose any of those pieces, and understanding the impact that that has in communications when we receive it without context or without warning. So it makes for a long week. I feel like I'm starting my report off very heavy. I apologize. But I will also add that I would not be doing my job if I didn't comment on the fact that we at Valley continue without a permanent president. I say that because as the news rolled out across campus through the official communications from the district and from the chancellor, it was met with a lot of emotions and questions. And so as the Academic Senate president, I have a role of having to communicate to the faculty body as well and to respond to questions. While much of the time I have nothing I can say, I'm very bound by a lot of legality and pieces behind that. So that being said, I am going to continue to walk in trust in this process, and that it's a not yet, and that the perfect candidate is coming. The perfect candidate is coming. So we know that the best interest, at least I believe that the best interest at heart for our campus is there, and we will wait anxiously in the future for what that looks like. And I will continue to encourage the faculty to keep in mind the confidentiality that surrounds this process, the complexity of this process. It is not a black and white, A or B process, and we just need to be reminded of that. So, and to continue to remind them of the legal limitations that all of us have in even having any conversation around that. So, but if there's any other communication that can be had to encourage faculty to trust the process, that would be great. And in the meantime, we look forward to hearing who the interim might be and how they can lead us in our next implementation phase of all of the work that we're doing. So under eliminating barriers to student access and success, speaking of work to do in the spring semester, our student equity plan is done. It's done. We're so excited. I am going to be really transparent and say that I don't know if it's actually on this board or if it's going to the next board, but it's done. We're really excited. And now the next phase is to get that implementation pieces, right? It's a 3-year process. None of it's going to happen overnight. It's going to be a lot of heavy load, a lot of lift. But it's a plan that I'm happy to say that I'm happy to sign and get behind as a representative of the faculty body, and the Academic Senate at Valley did support the student equity plan, so yay! The other thing under reducing and eliminating barriers to student access and success, it was a great week for distance education at Valley and at Crafton. I'll include you guys as well. It was really a great week. We are on track to becoming a teaching college with a cohort to start in January. I think that email was sent, maybe. Sorry. That being said, it was really exciting to, and I want to just thank the executive committee and the executive board, I should say, and Chancellor Rodriguez and Vice Chancellor Torres for stepping in while you were away in the support in taking us to that January cohort. The cohort process is an 8-week onboarding process to make us that teaching college, and they had 1 spot left. 1. There was not another spot available until fall semester and very late in addition to that. And I was really disheartened at first. I was like, oh no, we're not going to get it. We're not going to do this. And my little spirit of working so hard on this project for many years at this point was a little concerned, but we prevailed and we got a January cohort. So that is super exciting. What that means for our students is they are going to, it means that by spring, end of spring, so for summer registration, we will be able to receive students from other campuses with a one-click registration process. Right now, they can find our courses on the exchange, but they're referred to CCC Apply. And they're referring like 2,000 students a semester to CCC Apply, which is great. We're getting that many students clicking, but let's be honest, between that point of interest and getting to CC Apply and actually going through the registration process, we're going to be losing some of those students. We know we're losing them. So that teaching college for summer and therefore going forward, one click, literally one click, 60 seconds, and they're in the class. And that is fantastic. It means we capture them in the moment. And once we have them, we like to hold on to them, and we're really good at that. So I'm super excited about that, and I just really want to thank for everybody for the support in that. It's just a huge, huge, huge step. And today we finalized the technical components to move from uploading all of our data from a CVS file, which is like an Excel file basically, up to the exchange into live time, live seat information. So I want to recognize Andy Chang and his team for the tremendous amount of work, months and months and months. I sent an email out in January, and we just finished that work today. But it's been a tremendous amount of work, and it's been a team effort, and the CVC has supported us 100% of the way, and it's been amazing. So a great week for DE. In terms of diverse and equitable, inclusive and anti-racism institution, I just want to thank Vice Chancellor Christina Hannon and Asia Brown for reaching out to the faculty affinity groups and the Academic Senate presidents as well, and asking us to identify, each group to identify their top 5 concerns or goals in relation to DEIAA work, and with the intent of creating a plan in the advisory committee and to lead the advisory committee work over this next year. I think that's really a really collegial way to do that, and provided an opportunity for the for the faculty affinity groups to have their voice heard and their concerns be presented in a very safe and supportive space, as well as Academic Senate. So thank you for that. We're excited to be recruiting for a full-time ethnic studies faculty member at Valley. Can I get a whoop whoop? This is a position that's a result of a collegial and process, and by the support of our college council and our interim president, Scott Thayer. So thank you for that. It's a crucial position for us in being able to provide leadership in the area of ethnic studies and the ability to expand our offerings to match the need and demand created by the graduation and transfer requirements. One important piece of that position is the need to develop ethnic studies courses with ethnic studies coding, rather than trying to fill that need primarily through the way of cross-listing, meaning an English class that has an ethnic studies component is identified as an ethnic studies class, but is not ethnic studies in its purest form. And we feel very strongly at Valley, as well as the state movement, is that yes, we recognize that some of those cross-listed classes are important and might be needed for to meet the need right now. We believe that we want true ethnic studies courses to really meet the spirit of what the requirement is and what our students need. And so we did not see a way to do that without a full-time position to really speak to that, because they have very specific men-quals for that role. And so really excited to see that come to campus. So yay. I think I'm getting close to being done. The establishment, I thank you for recognizing the baccalaureate program. I'm excited for Crafton, but I also want to say we're really excited at Valley because this past week, the Academic Senate also supported the creation of a baccalaureate program in water technology. Yes, it's great. Actually, we're really excited. That was, again, supported by Academic Senate at Valley. It was an extremely collegial process, very faculty. It was a thoughtful process, and so thank you to the Office of Instruction and Vice Chancellor, or Vice President, I moved you up. Sorry, Vice President Humble, Dr. Dina Humble, in the support of making that happen and making sure that it stayed faculty centered, and that was fantastic. So I do understand that the CSU system produced a resolution this week about competing baccalaureate programs and competing institutions, but we are going to proceed and just assume that we're going to win that, and it's going to all be fine because our students really need this. So send good wishes to Gary Parker and Melita Caldwell, who are two lead faculties members in water technology. They have a heavy lift between now and January 13th, so a whole lot to do. The other point under presentation tonight on the Tennessee and Utah visits. It was great to hear all of the update on that. And it's really great to hear the conversation around the ideas of the programs and curriculum that can happen. And so again, sitting heavy in my role, just keeping faculty at the center of those conversations is so critical. Doing so really requires an intentional communication through all the channels, right? And that includes our president, our vice presidents of instruction, division deans, faculty chairs. I know this will happen. I'm just doing my job and reminding us that those are wonderful ideas. And if they're, if the board has a particular interest, that to be able to direct that and say, this is what we want to see happen, or we want to hear specifically about this program, that would be fantastic. And we're happy to have that conversation. And last but not least, as you may know, if you read the consent agenda from HR this evening, my colleague, Brandy Bayless, is moving into an interim dean position at Crafton. Is it on the board tonight? Am I announcing it too early? Okay. Goodness gracious. I heard a noise and I thought, did I say something wrong? So yes, absolutely congratulations to my colleague. So she's leaving her role as Academic Senate President at Crafton a semester early. And I know I'm taking a little bit of space here with this, but I do want to say that the relationship building that has occurred over the last couple of years with the last couple of Senate presidents on both campuses has been a real treat to experience. And it has helped to provide real safe and supportive space to work together on common goals and resolve common concerns, because we do share them across campuses. Brandy may not realize it, but she has mentored me in ways that have supported my own growth. Recently, we engaged in a conversation around consensus voting in committees, including our advisory committees and the Chancellor's Council. I have had several conversations on the topic of consensus voting, but Brandy provided an example and a perspective that allowed me to see the point and how it can be a tool used in the spirit of inclusivity. I'll spare you the details of the recent example. You can probably look at the notes from the Chancellor's Council to see that. But I do want to thank Brandy for getting through to me on the topic of consensus voting. So with that, that's the end of my report. I wish you all happy holidays, whatever that looks like for you. I celebrate Christmas, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas, and may you have a good New Year, and I'll see you in January.
Thank you. San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate.
Good evening. I think I'll say ditto to most of that, what she said there. I think some of the major differences that I wanted to point out, we've been working directly with Vice Chancellor Hannon about getting the classified members throughout the district to look into having a classified conference come sometime in the new year. We're looking forward to that. We've also been reaching out to the student body a little bit more to get them more involved and get their feedback on certain things. So to give you an example of one of the things that we discovered in the process is talking to students and getting that feedback that helped us provide to the educational master plan and the student equity plan, is the viewpoint that messaging to them through emails, messaging to them through the website is kind of viewed as like they're going to the school, they're at the school, but they brought up one thing that's different, how they perceive like something that having like an app, like each college having an app. That action, that social interaction by pulling up an app to see what's going on when it fits your time and space makes them feel like they belong. So we've been looking into that, and hopefully we can kind of get some actions into how we can do that, because I know there's been a lot of trying to reach community and build those bridges through notices on websites or notices through emails, but going through the reception part and asking them what it means to them, we're finding out that it's not necessarily building that connection that we're looking for. To go one step further, we recently had the opportunity to host the playoff games at our football field that Riverside Community College was in the quarterfinals and semifinals. We provided the concession support, and the reason I bring that up is what that means to us, to the classified staff and some of the students that assisted us. It goes into the scholarship fund that will be able to provide students some scholarships, or actually this year entertain giving scholarships of a higher amount to lead to student success and what they can do with that money.
So are you saying that students are saying that they would like to have an app for the campus and that would increase their engagement, like to be able to have communications through an app versus through email? Was that what you were saying?
Yes, that is what we're discovering, that increased engagement and an increased sense of belonging it was actually be formed more through like an app, maybe an app for each campus or an app throughout the district that is enabled or functional on a smart device, compared to the messaging that we are putting out through emails or just through the different colleges' websites. It is actually having that. And I was going to phrase that as part of standing in solidarity with what the teachers, the faculty had said, is the difference between perception, intention, reception, and reality. What the faculty had discussed tonight about the I'm going to use the wrong terminology, but the course load for them. What I wanted to point out about that, what the rest of the community is hearing, besides just the faculty, the perception is becoming that sometimes we're not paying attention to, we may have an intention that is creating a result that has a reaction where a lot of other people through the previous 2 board meetings are seeing that decisions are being made without talking to the people that it's impacting. And that is part of what I wanted to bring up. That's kind of driven how are we impacting the students through what they need or what they want. And that helped us discover that difference of it. It's not that the message wasn't enough, it was how it was being delivered. On a more positive note, I did want to say that the Classified Senate, over Thanksgiving, we delivered 3 holiday meals. What we did is we went with prepped meals. I wanted to do that to identify the individuals were mentioned earlier during the meeting tonight. We gave one to Raina Okray, which works in the president's office. She is recovering from a medical surgery, taking a little longer than expected. The other one was Shalita Tillman. I know it's outside the classified area of representation. She's a manager, but as part of that feeling of belonging, to extend that part of the family, we extended that to her family, Shalita Tillman. And the other one, who we discovered that with the condition, it would be likely that she won't be leaving the hospital. But we wanted to go the step further in building that community by making that gesture to the family, her husband, the daughter, the caregivers, that we were thinking of them. So that's what I mean by perception, intention, reality, and the impact that it has. Again, I asked for permission from the classified senate, but we've reached outside of just the classified staff to recognize the manager and what that manager meant to us. Trying to think one. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention, part of the CVC OEI, which was mentioned earlier, I'm part of that committee representing the classified professionals. I just want to bring up that one of the items being discussed is how in enrollment or enrollment requirements for impacted transfer institutions or impacted courses at transfer institutions may actually have an effect on how we use the consortium and the enrollment because of what will be local or regional requirements for admission. Specifically, we discovered San Diego State has a requirement that enrollment is treated as if it comes from their 8 surrounding community feeder schools and how that would be treated. The other one is I recently discovered our own Cal State San Bernardino, between its local area, which would be the Riverside San Bernardino region. They actually considered different GPA levels for their impacted programs. So I just wanted to bring that up, that we are looking into that, because what it might determine is our part-time students that may end up actually taking one class in person on our campuses, but maybe enrolling up to the 2-class limit through the CVC OEI, that they would actually be taking more classes off campus, and what the resolution to that would be. So that is something that we're putting forward to the state chancellor's office, and we're looking forward to actually get a matriculation involved to see exactly how that will develop, because I think one of the first things that was looked at was the financial aid part. Now we're kind of discovering, when we look at transferring students, what is the result or impact as they start enrolling in these classes for ones enrolling in our college and ones that may be our students enrolling in another college. Wish you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I condensed it down quite a bit, but we can raise everything else up in January. So, like I said, I wish you all a happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. San Bernardino Valley College Associated Students.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you for having us today, and congratulations to the trustees. Okay. My name is Nalva Ruiz Martinez, SBVC ASD Student Body President, and I'm here to give you a report on behalf of ASG. As we get closer to the end of the fall semester, I just want to give a big thanks to those who have been very supportive of the students. Okay. First, we have continued to fill in vacancies such as interclub council and have continued to inform current students of ASG. Secondly, we have reestablished ASD presence at SBVC by increasing student representation and participation. I was recently present at the Region 9 meeting, and I did make sure that SBVC presence was known there. Today, we had our Basic Needs Summit event, and I wanted to go ahead and just thank everyone, all the hosts and the panelists that were there present. ASG was present as well. We have hosted and participated in various events this semester: New Student Welcome Week, Student Resource Fair, Halloween-themed Club Rush, Blues Birthday, STEM Mesa Center events, chess tournament, speech tournament, office decoration contest, ASG has been in collaboration with various departments at SBVC, including Student Life, the STEM Mesa Center, and the Marketing Department. ASG participated in the Presidential Forum by providing questions, for which we would also like to be a part of the next hiring committee as we were in the first one. Okay. Lastly, I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Mayo and the STEM Mesa department for his dedication in providing accessible tutoring services to the STEM students. Shout out to all of the students in the tutoring center. They've been doing an amazing job right now, especially during finals. It's very heavy. Also, I wanted to give a special shout out to Professor Bethany Tasaka, Professor Anthony Castro, and Dr. Jessie Lemieux for their dedication and value that they bring to the students. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the Executive VP. He's going to give you guys a quick little report on ICC. Take over, Diami.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations, trustees, on your reelection. And a really great job, Dr. Thayer, on today's panel event, and for really elaborating on the essential need of the food pantry and basic needs at San Bernardino Valley College. So let me go ahead and just get started. By the way, for those who don't know, my name is Diami Reese Martinez. I am the Executive Vice President of the San Bernardino Associated Student Government, and also the acting chair of the Interclub Council for San Bernardino Valley Community College. So as you may know, the Interclub Council was recently reactivated after a period of inactivity by the 2022-2023 ASG Executive Board to assure that clubs have a space to collaborate and also to just participate with each other. And have conversation. Overall, ICC has been going pretty well, and I was really surprised because we've had a good amount of clubs show up to our meetings. We've only had 3 meetings, but amongst those meetings, we've had club officers, actively participating, actively voting, and of course, requesting funding. The Interclub Council has focused on helping clubs grow their presence at San Bernardino Valley by providing clubs officers with the space to voice their concerns, to ask questions, seek research, and communicate problems that they may be encountering at the campus. Additionally, and as a result, club officers are starting to become more acquainted with management of club funds, drafting of club minutes, and just holding and conducting their clubs. We recently had Winterfest. The Interclub Council, along with the government, was able to facilitate club participation in that event. It was a pretty good turnout, so I just want to go ahead and just give a big thanks also to the marketing department at San Bernardino Valley College for, welcoming us into that event and for the role that they played in planning out that event as well. So although we've only had 3 meetings in ICC, ASG remains committed to the student body and its clubs, and we have really big plans for this upcoming year, for the spring semester. I just want to go ahead and conclude just by giving a quick thanks to Maria Magupia, the student activity specialist, for her dedication in providing orientations and webinars for the clubs. I also want to go ahead and give thanks to all the student club officers who have been participating in ICC and for their commitment to their clubs and the student body. They truly add value to what it means to be a student at San Bernardino Valley College. And of course, I just want to give thanks also to the Associated Student Government for, really doing a lot of work. It's, not until that you're kind of in this position, you don't really understand kind of the amount of work that it really takes. And it's a very, and with classes, like, my God. Yeah, jeez. So, I'm glad that, there wasn't much expectations, So I think we've been doing pretty well so far, At least most of you know our names to an extent.
We're present, we're here.
We're present, we're here. So just big thanks also to everybody for being very welcoming, you know. Big thanks to Executive Vice Chancellor Torres, you know. I got the pin right here that he gave me.
Here's mine as well.
He might say that I kind of just took it off and put it on myself, but you know, I'm still waiting on the jacket, you know. But just saying. But you know, just big thanks to everybody. Oh, Angel,
where's Angel?
Oh, where's Angel? Just big thanks to everybody, and have a great holiday break, get some rest, and you know, let's get ready for
Next semester, guys.
next semester.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That
Thank
concludes our report.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't leave. I got suckered into student government too when I was a student. I think that they would be great hosts for your next gala. They would be perfect.
Let us know.
Let us know.
But I do appreciate your presence, and every time you come, and every time I see you on campus or you know the events. What's the club? How many clubs do you know? How many clubs you have? And with declining enrollment, has that affected your all's budget?
Yes. So currently, the Interclub Council does have a limited budget. And we are working to increase that budget. We are also working to facilitate clubs with the essential just basics of club management and also fundraising. One of the problems that we do have come across is that when clubs are fundraising is that normally students normally don't carry cash anymore. Everything's credit card. So that has been a limitation. We have been in discussions about adding card readers so that clubs have access to credit card payments, but of course there are various other logistics and we're still awaiting that. So we are open to brainstorm some ideas to overcome that problem. In terms of the clubs, we currently do have, we had 20 clubs that were active in our ICC meeting. I can't tell you exactly the number that we have of clubs currently active. There are clubs that are becoming active as we speak, new clubs that are being formed. I will tell you that we did have new clubs that came in, the Anime Club, which was one of them, and a couple of clubs just reactivated along with Puente Club, a new club, Xochipilli Ethnobotany Club. It's a bit of a handful to remember, but that just shows my dedication. Yeah, and a couple of clubs, Puente Club reactivating. One of the biggest things that, just to tackle your question there, is that, yeah, COVID really did affect the clubs.
What's Spirit like on campus?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Spirit it's better than it was at when, the year started, but, it's getting there. It was a little bit kind of, a little bit of a ghost town, but now, with the events, reintroducing ICC, bringing in the clubs back, having them participate, really, it's just giving them a space to collaborate, to communicate, to talk with them amongst peers. Now we're starting to hear, like, art club collaborating with the film club to provide just like art for background for films and stuff like that. And it's been really good because we've actually had clubs really vocal during our meetings. We've actually had objections as well, which, that's always great. That means that there is a difference in idea and there's a willingness to challenge and also to talk, to converse. In general, I think that we're doing a good job. Of course, I'm not going to go ahead and say that we're perfect. A lot needs to be done to really kickstart back student life. But I think that many of the folks at San Bernardino Valley have really shown a dedication to that, to kickstarting student life. And in terms of the clubs are doing great. They're getting established. They're getting their feedback, on the ground. So I hope that by next semester, I will have a lot more positive and a lot more better reports to give. But for right now, it has surpassed my expectations at least, and it's been going good, so not bad.
Just a quick comment, because I know you took a lot of time, but very informative.
We always have time for you, Trustee Reyes.
Well, let me just say that you've done a
Brief
very good
question.
job,
Brief
a very
question.
good job, and I think that you would be a good representatives to do what I suggested at the beginning, which is go to Washington D.C. to really advocate. Because when you're talking about funding for students and so forth, that's one way we can do it. You present yourself in a very professional way, even though you don't know everything. But I don't think all of us don't know everything, any. So there would between you and Robert and Crafton Hills, I think we could make a big difference in Washington and Sacramento for the benefit of the students. Yeah, well, I was hoping that you, Robert, we're going to go to Washington in February. Is it the 6th or something around there? Work with your president. Your president is very, very good about that. And also with Crafton Hills College, I would hope that at least one student. Again, this is where you can really make a difference. You're making a difference with the students, but you can make a big difference with the students in terms of opportunities. So thank you so much for your work. You should be getting paid for that. Gee, my God, you took longer than a lot of charge of the ICC program 200 years ago.
Well, feel free to issue us a check. We will graciously accept it.
We won't say no.
We won't say no.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy
Thank you.
New Year's. And
Thank
we will
you.
see all of you next semester.
Thank you. Crafton Hills Academic Senate.
Hi, everyone, and congratulations on your reelection. I also wanted to comment on public comment today. You've heard me speak often about course caps, and they are a very passionate topic. They're detrimental to our students when they're high, and a zero load is an unfair practice, but it is not appropriate to compare it to slavery. We recognize that. The faculty who spoke recognized that, and the faculty member who said it recognizes that and sends her apologies. Ask the board to keep in mind the importance of her comments while removing that particular part of her comments. This is my last report as Academic Senate President. I'm very excited to be giving it. I want to thank the board for hearing me for these past few years. I know our interactions are limited, but the head nods and the note-taking and the question asking made me feel heard, and I appreciated that. I also want to thank Valley College for being so supportive for these past couple of years. They've been supported at these meetings, at our statewide plenaries, and through very many mental breakdowns. I want to thank Davina for her very kind comments. I'd also like to thank Crafton Hills faculty for stepping up every time they were asked to. And I want to thank our administration and our DSO for their support and their many sanity checks. And I'm most appreciative of our ability to move from disagreements to consensus. As I have so consistently done, I'd like to use this report to tie the importance of our equity work to the size of our classes. Without pedagogically supported maximums, even our instructors' best efforts and extended hours cannot meet the best practices they are required to know and understand to be successful in the classroom. We would like our entire district to keep in mind that work to support equity, anti-racism, and decolonization requires institutional changes and not just instructional changes. Many of our most groundbreaking changes need support layers built in throughout the district and colleges, and we are happy to see that our district has made the advanced move from training faculty to intrusively supporting faculty. I want to especially thank Keith Wirtz, back there, hi Keith, Christina Hannon, and Aisha Brown, I did it, for her exceptional efforts in intrusive faculty support. We would like to see these efforts expanded and adopted throughout the district. This means more of efforts to work with faculty to identify any roadblocks they are experiencing and supporting DEIA work, and a commitment to the consistent and admittedly complicated and very difficult work of removing these barriers. It's my last report, some made a list. Okay, lowering class sizes so that faculty have ample opportunity to support our students as individuals. Increasing college support system, including test centers, Canvas tools, web content accessibility or WCAG guidelines, experts in support, and instructional designers. responding positively to feedback and supporting every voice through consensus-based decision-making, no longer saying it is impossible to figure out how to afford both the necessary support and the lower maximum enrollment that supports equity, safety, and the student experience. Reassessing the RAM and DSO assessment methods so that we can allow for pedagogically supported and equity-minded course caps. And fully redesigning both how we spend our money and how we document that spending so that we can clearly demonstrate to everyone, regardless of their budgeting background and expertise, that we support students first and everything else after. This list is difficult, it's complicated. The work would be groundbreaking among community colleges. It's so pie in the sky, it seems crazy to ask for it, but I am asking because I work here too, and I know that our district can do it. I know that our board, our leadership, and our campuses are in a place that we can set supporting equity, but for innovative and disruptive decolonization efforts in our institution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a real quick comment. I want to particularly commend Professor Bayless as an outstanding example of the kind of faculty we have, because last week I had the opportunity to be at Crafton Hills College to help wrap gifts. And not only was she there on her time to help wrap gifts, in between gifts, she was helping a student. And I think that just demonstrates the dedication that our faculty have, so thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Crafton Hills Classified Senate. A lot of people with injuries.
Sorry, it's a long day. So I'm gonna speak really fast because I know there's celebrations to be had, and my batteries are about to die. So on behalf of the Crafton Hills College Classified Senate, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and always happy and safe New Year's. Congratulations, Trustee Williams, Trustee Houston, and Trustee Gonzalez on your elections. It's always good to know that our board is not only recognized and respected in our communities, but are focused on the success of our campuses and our students. I also want to congratulate all those that are retiring. I noticed a lot of classified names on there, and it's bittersweet because these are the people that trained me, and now I feel like I'm supposed to be responsible for training others, and I don't know if I could put that on my shoulders. But nevertheless, I know firsthand that the people up north are working hard and tirelessly to protect their pensions and their retirement. We're working with Christina Hannon on how to create a meaningful event that not only supports our classified workers, but how we as classified professionals can help enhance the student experience. And we look forward to more of those future conversations. And then lastly, today we approved and updated our Senate bylaws. These updates will clarify the processes and bring more equity and transparency to our Senate. So that concludes my report. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you. Crafton Hills College Associated Students. Do we have a written report? No? Okay. CSCA.
I felt Kevin's pain when he stood up right now. I'm like, oh, God, I haven't stood up in hours, it feels like. All right, so I'll keep this short. Good evening, Chancellor, Board of Trustees. I want to start by congratulating Trustee Williams, Trustee Houston, and Trustee Gonzalez on your elections. And we look forward to working with you and getting up here and telling you about what's going on and keeping you updated. At long last, we have a ratified CBA for your approval, and I thank you for approving it this evening. Next week, we prep it for print, and we'll be distributing the new contracts most likely when we come back from the break. We will almost immediately reopen the agreement as it is 6 months from expiring, and look forward to giving you our sunshine proposal for our reopeners. I also want to recognize, every time I see it, we have 2 classified promotions happening. You guys are putting your trust in us. We're working hard to show you that we're worth being promoted, and our classified, we have 2 promotions this month. So thank you so much. We did have our elections. And I would like to recognize our new 2023-2025 Executive Board. I will be continuing as president. We have Ernest Guillen, who has stepped up to the plate for first vice president. I have Dave Stevenson, who's going to be, oh, yes. Yes, there it is. I have Dave Stevenson, who is pretty good at all the contract stuff and steward stuff. He's now going to be our chief steward. We have a brand new second VP, Kevin Limoges. So brand new person. We're excited. Rosemary Hanson decided not to run. And so I would like to recognize the 12 years of her being our treasurer, and the fact that she is going to take that information, the knowledge that she has, and bring that to the statewide CSCA. So that's really great. But to replace her, we have Yendis Battle. So somebody who knows a lot about money, that takes a lot of stress off of me. We have our secretary, Karina Baber, a communications officer who's amazing, Deborah Castro. We have, you guys all know, Mary Valdemar will be our PAC as long as she's willing to do the job. And we have Kevin Pauke as our past president until I'm the past president, which I think this is going to be my last term. And then I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Sharon. I know that there was a lot of people who knew what was going on. This really took me by surprise. And then to know that she never made it to retirement hurts my heart. And I want to speak to every single person who's hearing retire. Don't lose it. I've seen so many people not be able to take advantage of their retirement, and it's just a very sad thing. So I want to recognize Sharon as a part of our community who's lost, and tell people to enjoy your time and take it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. CTA. Do we have a written report? No. Okay. The Police Officers Association. No report either. Okay. San Bernardino Valley College President.
Good evening. I know there's been a lot reported tonight, and so I will be brief. First, congratulations to the board members for your re-election. The Basic Needs Summit occurred today, as we've heard. I did want to add one piece of that. We had about 350 attendees, which was an exceptional number. And there's a rumor that one of our students won the $500 scholarship. Nice. And so I heard that to be the case. Is that right, Gina? Congratulations. Last Friday, we had our holiday party. First time since 2019, I believe, 3 years, in person in the campus center. We had 30 baskets donated, and we fundraised $6,500 at that event. Just wanted to thank the campus community for their generosity in donating the baskets and participating by buying the opportunity ticket. So really excited about that. And a birthday party broke out. We found out our Associated Student Body President's birthday, Nelva, was on that day, so we sang happy birthday to her. So happy belated birthday again for that. So I wish everyone a safe holiday season, and that is my report.
Thank you. By the way, nobody offered to sell me tickets for those baskets. And in the past, it didn't matter whether you were a member of the Valley College community. The tickets were sold all over the district. So I always buy tickets, and every once in a while I do win a basket.
We're going to have to get on our foundation for that. Well, we'll make sure we get you all the opportunities.
Okay. Crafton Hills President.
Good evening. Congratulations, trustees, on your reelection. I want to share a note that many of us went up to the CEO conference in San Francisco and shared many experiences where we came back together and said, thank goodness for the board that we have in San Bernardino Community College District, for your wisdom and guidance and support. Just a brief couple of items. I want to thank Trustee Gonzalez for joining us. We were in the Redlands Holiday Parade as a college the other night, and there were 3 certain truths I learned. People love cadets from the Fire Academy. The crowd went absolutely nuts for them. One child even proclaiming that his mother was single to one of the cadets. And we will be participating in the holiday parade for the city of Yucaipa tomorrow. If you are so interested in joining us, I can provide you with that information. Similar to Valley College, while we don't do a fundraiser for our holiday party, we do have started a new tradition of supporting our EOPS Care and CalWork students by wrapping presents and their families. And we wrapped nearly 200 presents for those that attended. It was really kind of a special event. So I want to thank everybody for coming to that and participating. And that is my report.
Thank you. Executive Vice Chancellor.
No report.
Okay. Vice Chancellor of Human Resources and Police Services, no report. Vice Chancellor of Educational and Student Support Services, no report. Okay. Are there any items in the information area of your agenda that you would like any board member to pull out and for discussion? No? None at all? Okay, thank you. So we will go to the announcement of closed session items. You know that closed session items are posted and can be referred to as provided in the agenda. So the closed session items at this point are A, conference with labor negotiators, Government Code 54957.6. Agency representatives Diana Rodriguez and Christina Hannon, CSCA, CTA, POA, management/supervisor and confidential employees. B, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reemployment, Government Code 54957. C, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code 54956.9, D2. And then D, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9, E3 or D1. And liability claim number 606464. And then I think that's it. So we will close, recess and also at this point, public comment on closed session items. If there's anybody who would like to comment on closed session items, I have not received any slips of paper, so I'm assuming that no one wants to comment on closed session items. We will close the public session and convene closed session. And if you don't stay for the results of closed session, I wish you all a very safe, healthy, and prosperous holiday season. Thank you. reconvene the business meeting of the San Bernardino Community College District. We have two readouts from our closed session. If our clerk would read them out, please.
Thank you. The board met with its legal counsel and real property negotiators in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. Direction was provided to finalize the purchase and sale agreements for the acquisition by SBCCD of multiple properties described in the posted agenda up to an aggregate amount of $38 million. The Board of Trustees voted unanimously to approve a delegation of authority to the district's chancellor or her designee to execute and deliver any and all documents which she and legal counsel may deem necessary or advisable in order to finalize a purchase and sale agreement for the properties, to pay deposits, open escrow, and otherwise perform pursuant to the terms of such final purchase and sale agreements, and to bring the final purchase and sale agreements to the board for ratification. The second item was on December 9th, 2022, the board unanimously took action to approve a settlement of liability claim number 606464 with employee number 31206. That concludes the readouts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The next meeting of the board business meeting is on Thursday, January 12th, 2023 at 4 p.m. in the San Bernardino Community College District Boardroom, and it is 7:52, and this meeting is adjourned.
Can we adjourn in honor of our outgoing chair, Gloria Macias
Oh.
Harrison, and let's give her a big hand.
Yay! I don't want this recorded. I'm so